starting to tackle the wiring for the Sniper EFI system. I got this kit used off of Facebook Marketplace. I had a spare harness from my truck. I ran this system in my 77 F-150, and I actually have a spare harness that I can use, and I'm just going to salvage whatever I can off of the harness that was provided to me here. So I bought it. It came with the Hyperspark system with the coil, and this is how he had his harness kind of set up. I'm not going to be using obviously this chunk of harness. I just need mainly the connector to the Hyperspark. I believe I have another one of those here, so I'll figure that out. I believe I just need the positive and negative, and then these two for the activation of the coil. And then this harness I can extend to wherever I want to mount this thing. Let me see here. Yeah, so if we look here in the schematic, we just need main positive, main ground, that connector going to the white's point output, which goes to the additional outputs harness. And then this one looks like it's going to the Hyperspark distributor, which is what we have as well. Like I said, it came with the Hyperspark ignition system, Hyperspark coil, and the Sniper. So I'm just going to start cutting that harness apart and seeing what all we need from the harness to make this system work. So this may seem like a bunch of complicated wiring, but if you break it into its parts, it's not too bad. So this connector here is just simply for your display and for your tuning capabilities. Then you got main positive, main negative on the Sniper Hyperspark box. This is for your auxiliary controls. So this is like fan speed 1, fan speed 2, or sorry, it's like a ground switched for your relays. This white wire is going to go to your ignition box. This red wire out of the ignition box is going to be switched power, along with the pink wire from our main harness here. And then main harness, you got your positive and negative. This is your fuel pump power, fuel pump relay, your main fuse. Yellow wire is not going to be needed on this system because we're using the Hyperspark. And then these two here are going to go to your distributor here. So those two will go there. Pink wire here is going to go to switched power, and then that will be the entirety of the harness there. And then once I get the fan set up, I can do the 2 wires for the fan grounds. And then back here you have your harness for your O2 sensor, and then the last connector is going to be for your temp sensor. And that should be it. So all of this needs to be, well, we need to mount those two here first. I'm thinking about just putting them right here on the side. So mount them both right here, bolt them up to the side, and then I can start laying the harness out and finding my key switched power, and then I'm going to start running the wires for the main power, main ground to the battery. And then once I have key switch power, main positives connected, all of these connected properly, then we can get our fuel pump hooked up and try to fire it. But yeah, that should be the entirety of the harness there. Get this thing wired up.